Hey everybody, it's Irene with BrainStormAcres, and today I'm going to make dill pickles. Dill pickles, to me, is one of the easiest things out there to make. Hi, Miss Isa. Miss Isa had to come in because she knows I'm doing something. Excuse me. Fuzzy thing. Basically, all I'm going to do is these cucumbers have been rinsed off, and I'm just going to cut them, stick them in jars, and then we're going to add the spices and the vinegar and stuff like that. Then there'll be water bath cans, and a month later there'll be pickles. I have a small collection of canning jars here. These are all clean. And I'm just simply going to cut off the ends of the cucumbers. And cut most of them probably into quarters. Just make sure that I'm just going to pack them in there. What I actually do is I lay them down on their side. Makes it easier. I'm going to cheat by starting with some of the easier ones. But you'll see me measure them to make sure that they actually were going to fit in there. If they're not, I'm simply going to take a little extra of the cucumber off. I can save those scraps for something else. Or I can put them in the compost pile. I have about 4 pounds of cucumbers here. This recipe that I have, I actually don't have a specific number associated with it in terms of poundage of cucumbers. It's an old recipe I've used before. Honestly, don't know where I got it from, but Henry liked it, so it's similar to the other recipes I've found, in that the spices and stuff and the proportions of various things are similar, so okay. I should turn on the light in here. There we go, that's better. I just realized it was getting to be a little later in the day, therefore not quite as bright as it was earlier. Now, I'm not trying to be super precise about this. I'm cutting them roughly into quarters and sort of sliding them in there. Might actually take that smaller one and stick it in there. There we go. I want these to be relatively full because after they cook just a teeny bit, the cucumbers will shrink a little, and you don't want there to be like a jar of brine and one little cucumber sitting in the middle of it. Especially after you've gone to the efforts to do this sort of thing. I don't want to cram it though, so it's kind of a balancing act. go, perfect. And then I have two slightly larger ones. I think I'm going to actually slice them up into something else. The nice thing about these sort of projects is you can make up the rules to some extent while you do them. I mean, you know, as long as you're being safe about sanitation and the level of vinegar in your product and stuff like that. This is not the biggest one I've had out of there. I had a screw up the other day and wound up with a giant cucumber. This one kind of got scuffed up too. What I'm going to do is if I hit a bunch of seedy stuff, I'll ditch the seedy part. I'm going to cheat to win. I'm going to cut out the seediest part of this. And use the small pieces around the edges to fill in this. Cheat to win, cheat to win. Tuck in a few of these bits and pieces, and I think I'll just leave the rest of this out. Boink, 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 good. Okay, I'll figure out what to do with this later. Henry might want to eat a few of the pieces, but this one guy is a little bit on the big side, so I think we're going to let him go. All right, now that we have these jars ready to go, I need a pan, a non-reactive pan. When they say a non-reactive pan, they usually mean stainless steel or enamel. Do not use aluminum because the vinegar in the pot will actually be taking some of the aluminum out of the pot, and you really don't want to eat more aluminum than you have to. So we have 3 cups of vinegar, a 1/4 cup plus 2 tablespoons of salt. I finally found my pickling salt. I thought I had some, but you know how that goes. All right, so 3 cups of vinegar. This is not a lab experiment, so if you get a few extra drops here or there, it's fine. Woo! Cleans your sinuses right out. I'm going to add a little bit more because that was not a complete 1/4 cup. There we go. 1/4 cup plus 2 tablespoons of salt and 4½ cups of water. 4½ cups. Okay. Now we're going to heat this up to melt the salt. And we're going to add 1 tablespoon of mixed whole pickling spice to the bucket. Oh, that smells good. Cinnamon, allspice, mustard, coriander, bay, ginger, chilies, cloves, black pepper, mace, cardamom, and sulfiting agents. I could do without the sulfiting agents part, but other than that, I wonder if the newer ones use sulfiting agents or not. I'll have to look. I try and avoid such things. All right, cook, 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 cook. Now, while we're waiting for that, we have 1 teaspoon of whole mustard seed per jar. One of the things I like about this other set of spoons is that they're not round. They're elongated. And there's times when they will fit in a jar when nothing else will. So, okay. Yep, and it does. So, 1 teaspoon of whole mustard seed per jar. And then 1 tablespoon of dill seed per quart jar. That seems like an awful lot of dill seed. Wonder if that's wrong. Look at the one dill head per jar. Here's a dill head. Dill heads range in size dramatically. Yeah, they're saying a dill head per jar. I think that's a little insane. I'm thinking I have lots more dill. I'll go get some more. I'm thinking 2 teaspoons is a little bit more reasonable than a tablespoon. These are seeds from our own garden, which is kind of cool. I have a suspicion that original number. Oh yeah, that's for. Okay, yeah. It's for a quart jar. I read the wrong label. Okay, there we go. Okay. So those are all ready to go. Yep, all the salt is dissolved. That's a good thing. Ta-da! Now, because this is a real canning process, not just a vacuum sealing process, I will reuse lids for vacuum sealing. It smells so good. I don't like pickles, but I really like the smell that you get sometimes. As I require, let's see, this is a 1/4 inch headspace, that's what it is. New lids. Something silly like a single piece of dill frond is all it takes to keep a container from sealing properly. Doing something today I don't usually do, which is I have some jars that are wide mouths and some that are regular. I was going to have to like climb up on an extra tall ladder to get the other ones, so I need to get the ladder in there and just do it. But meanwhile, I cheated a little by mixing them. Won't make any difference. It's purely an aesthetic thing. Stay down. There's a little dill seed trying to get in the way there. We do not want that. that at least 1 to 2 inches above the jars. Now what we do is we wait, which is the general theme of canning. It's a lot of hurry up and wait. We wait for the water to come to a complete boil. When it comes to a complete rolling boil, I will time it. And I need to double check. But yeah, these will be 20 minutes. Because they're normally 10 minutes. But we are higher altitude, so we have to add an additional 10. Now I will double check that with my ball blue book. I'll be right back. Depends on the recipe. This one says 15 minutes. The other one says 10 minutes. Let me see what they say to add. And I'll decide how paranoid I'm going to be. I'm adding 10 minutes, so this one says use they're saying 15. Okay, we'll do it 25. Be paranoid. It won't hurt anything. It would normally at sea level be 15 minutes of processing time at a full rolling boil. Because we are at higher altitude, we will let it sit for an additional 10 minutes. So a total of 25. It'll speed up the process if I can do it without having to run the fan. Just uses a lot of the heat up by the fan. So let me tell you what's going to happen. What's going to happen is this is going to come to a full rolling boil. When I'm done with the cooking part of it, I am going to bring it out and stick it on a towel on the counter. You never put it directly on the counter. Some counters will break. This is granite, so it's not likely to break. But you can shatter your jars. That's a bad thing. You've put in all that effort to do something cool. You don't want to shatter your jars. So we'll see in a little while. Well, that means that our jars of pickles, dill pickles, that are in here have been cooked for 25 minutes, and then they have been allowed to rest for an additional 5 to cool down a little. So let's see what's going on. Okay. I have a towel over here on the counter, and I'm going to take these guys out one at a time. Okay. They look magically like pickles. Yep, those look like pickles, all right. Very cool. Hopefully soon we'll start hearing the magical sound of jars sealing. That's always a good feeling. I always get a kick out of it when they're still sort of bubbling. This one's not too much anymore. Now it's just like stuff is rising and falling inside the jar a little bit still. Very cool. Well, another project finished. I now have a little bit more room in my refrigerator. Not a lot, just a little. Definitely have to do something with that zucchini tomorrow. We cannot eat it fast enough. Hopefully this will inspire you to try making pickles. It's not complicated. Some kinds are easier than others. Some kinds are fancier than others. Dill pickles are super easy. There are things you can do to change them too. Some recipes use hot chili flakes thrown in it, or an actual piece of like a jalapeno or some other kind of hot chili. Hear that sound? That's a wondrous sound to a canner's ears. That's the sound of a jar lid sealing. So that means 1 out of those 6 jars has already sealed. But you could see it wasn't a complicated thing. There's a whole stack of different recipes out there. Every once in a while I find one that I go, nah. But most of them are pretty much the same. You know, it's a matter of which exact spices they use. Some will add garlic, some will add hot chilies, you know, but you can see it's not hard. So give it a try. You don't even have to grow your own cucumbers. If you could find a good deal on cucumbers at the grocery store or the farmer's market or something like that, go for it. I had been collecting those cucumbers for a couple of days, and I'm actually thinking about, oh Lord, what's ringing now? Ah. I'm like, where is my... That is a reminder to go check the greenhouse. Yes, anyway. So before my snooze button, which I just hit, runs out, be sure to like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. Be sure to come back because we're definitely going to be doing more things. We have other pickles. There goes another jar. We have other pickles to make. We've got some baking to do. A couple of other dishes to make, things going on in the garden, all kinds of stuff. So have a great week. Until next time, bye.